Welcome everybody to Recovery TV. We're glad you're here with us. Stay with us because we are going to talk about 5 realities that you must face after you've experienced infidelity. So don't go anywhere. Thanks for being with us on Recovery TV. We're going to talk about something that is really important when it comes to betrayal trauma. So when you've experienced infidelity in your relationship. But before we begin, I just want to remind everybody to please subscribe to our channel if you like the videos that we're producing. And don't forget to click that bell so that you can be notified when other videos are uploaded. So we're here today with you to talk about something that comes up a lot in our practice and with the couples and the clients that we're working with in this world of betrayal trauma recovery.
So a lot of times when people come in fresh off of discovering or finding out about an extramarital affair, one of the common symptoms that people tell us is they don't know what to do, the world feels upside down, and they really are in crisis. And so what we want to talk about today is what we're describing as 5 realities you must face following a betrayal.
Right. As Carrie said, it's terribly painful, especially following the discovery. And we actually did a video not too long ago on what's called a therapeutic disclosure, which I'll make sure I put a link to that in the cards so that you can watch that on your own time. But in this video, we want to address these 5 realities because these are things that we actually go over with the partners that have been wounded.
Right. This is something that we, Josh and I have discussed. We kind of go to very often and kind of helping try to stabilize the crisis after the discovery.
So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into these 5 realities.
Right. What I hear from my clients, something that they know, but they have a really hard time accepting it as part of reality, which is that the affair was not your fault.
Right, it's very natural and normal for the person who has discovered their spouse has been unfaithful to start searching for answers to the question of why, and sometimes that leads you, or most of the time that leads you down a path of wondering what you did to make it happen, or if you were good enough, if you were pretty enough, or if you were a good enough partner or lover, then this wouldn't have happened. You're trying to find those nuggets that just aren't there.
While I think as a couples therapist that exploring how do I contribute to my life's problems is a really important and helpful narrative, when we're talking about after discovering a betrayal like an affair, this process of asking what did I do to make this happen actually makes it harder to start working through recovering from this. Starting to ask yourself, maybe this isn't my fault, is a really important question and challenge to start kind of adding to your thought process.
So the second important reality to face is that you're wounded.
And that wound is a wound that kind of continues to reveal itself. And what I mean by that, Josh often describes it as a really deep wound. Something that you can't see right when the first kind of injury occurs, but something that continues to show you exactly how deep and how gaping the wound is.
So not only is it scary to look at the depths of that wound, but it's also a hard reality to face because you're just not used to being wounded and you're not going to do it very well. You're going to want to go back to your regular life and pick back up where you left off, and it's just difficult because it's basically not possible.
And I think what Josh is speaking to there is a lot of times people that have been betrayed often take a lot of value in being a good partner, and being a nurturer, and being, able and capable of giving and taking care of others. And so being wounded, being kind of man down, that is often very opposite of not only their daily experience, but the role that they see themselves in this world. And so it's kind of like a double whammy of pain, of not only am I hurting and bleeding out, but I'm used to being the one giving the care rather than needing to receive the care.
And also on top of that, it's just so dang unfair.
Yes.
Right, you gotta face that too.
And that's what we mean by the wound being kind of layered, is that there's pieces of it that just hurt, there's pieces of it that bring up this incredible deep sense of injustice, and then there's the fallout that hurts. In other words, how does this betrayal impact not just the relationship, but the people and other parts of their world that are going to be impacted by this news. The third reality to face after discovering an affair is that trust is broken.
Right, so one thing that we often tell our couples that we're working with is they don't have the luxury of trust right now. That's really hard to hear, but it's the reality of the situation. We also did a video on this that we'll put in the card so you can watch that, called What is Transitional Distrust? That's a really important concept to learn and understand, and I hope you'll take some time to watch that or go ahead and read the blog, which I'll make sure to link that in the description below. But for our purposes here, the message that we want to send to you is that it's okay to not have trust right now. That's the way it's supposed to be in situations like this.
And how that looks often in our office is that we will have the person who's been betrayed saying, I don't believe a word that comes out of my partner's mouth. I want to believe very much, and they're very sincere in that desire to trust and to believe what their partner is saying, but that they can't. And that kind of goes back to the first reality that we spoke of, which is once you've been wounded by somebody that you love and trust, your brain now has lumped that person into the distrustful category.
Right. And
your brain, as a wounded person, is not going to just be able to, like magic, believe what that other person says. Right. So this is that time when words are really cheap. And you may even struggle feeling bad that you can't believe the words your partner is telling you. But the reality, again, being healthy, is understanding that right now the best sense that you have is not your ears, it's not your hearing, it's what you see, it's your eyes.
Right. So if you're the unfaithful spouse that's watching this, any opportunity that you can take to present honesty and integrity and transparency to your spouse, that's really good medicine for them. So take that opportunity. The fourth reality that you have to face, which is a very difficult one to face, is that you have gone from a world of certainty and entered into a world of uncertainty.
And that sounds kind of obvious, but it comes down to really challenging emotional spaces for people. They don't know what tomorrow looks like. They don't know what holiday plans look like. They don't know what they're going to be able to do at work. They don't know how they're going to be able to parent. They don't even know how they see themselves in that moment. And so it really does kind of have an Alice in Wonderland feel where the up is down and the down is up. It is not a world of certainty where you feel safe and like you know what's going to happen next.
Right. And please don't take this as a hopeless message.
Absolutely.
You can have a lot of confidence in your relationship on the other side of healing, and you can build something wonderful and special, but certainty is something that you want to pay attention to as more of a culprit. If you experience something that presents itself as certain, then you really want your red flags to go up and examine that, because that's actually something that I wouldn't trust. The reality is that the world that we've always lived in is a world of uncertainty. So anything that points us in a direction that says we can have and access certainty, it's something that we really want to be cautious against.
So in that world of uncertainty, the task before you in this new reality is that you're going to have to chart your own path. The path that you've already kind of laid and had maybe years, many years maybe, that you walked back and forth and it was comfortable and familiar, that's gone, and now you're going to go off course and chart a new one, and that is overwhelming. But that new space also gives you the opportunity to create something different, and that's where the healing, and that's part of the new reality for our clients.
Let me reassure you that you can feel safe and secure in the world of uncertainty.
The last reality to face is the need for self-care.
Right, and this is very difficult for wounded spouses to do, because as Carrie was talking about earlier, is that you often have this experience in wanting to take care of things, to nurture others, and often the injured spouse will find themselves feeling compelled to nurture and take care of their partner that was unfaithful to them.
And while that need to take care of other people, or that desire to take care of other people, is a quality that you may want to keep and value, you are too hurt, you are too wounded in that moment really to be able to offer care to others. It's the put your own oxygen mask on mentality after an affair, that if you've been betrayed, you've got to be making sure that you're taking care of your brain and your body, or you truly are no good to yourself or anyone else.
Right. And the truth is that the unfaithful partner probably does have a lot of wounds that need to be tended to, but the important thing to recognize is that you have this gaping wound that is of the utmost importance to stop the bleeding, to close the wound and let it start to heal. And then we can start to focus on some of these other wounds that are existing, and then your partner can lean on you again eventually.
That's right. And I think that's what I also want the message to be about all of these 5 realities that we've just spoken about, is that these are very time sensitive. And so this is meant to address a population who has recently discovered a betrayal. And this is part of stepping into this new uncertain world of, this really terrible thing has happened, what do I do about it? These things are part of that new reality. And taking good care of yourself is part of that journey throughout, but it is essential and critical to take care of it after the discovery, because that wound is so fresh, and how well you do down the road, just like a physical injury, how well we take care of it and treat it right when it occurs does help with how well the recovery is going to go.
We appreciate you watching this video. We know that this video itself is probably not generating a lot of warm, fuzzy feelings for you. Facing reality often doesn't do that for us. So it's really important for you to take the first step to seek out help if that's what you need. And there is a life of peace and happiness waiting for you if you can only find the path to get there. And often a professional that specializes in betrayal trauma is the one you want to seek out that can help you do that. So I'll make sure I put links in the description of the video below that can direct you to those people in your area.
That's right. And that's an important final message, is you don't have to do it alone. And even going through all of this, on the other side, Josh and I have the absolute privilege every day of seeing people recover from these things that feel like they can't come back from. And so we're speaking to you from a place of belief and privilege about what can be on the other side of betrayal.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.